Let's jump in. We've got Joy LaPola, who's right outside the courtroom. She's got Warren Alperstein, who's with her. They were all in the court. Let's hear what they're saying.
For charging Freddie Gray and acting inappropriate with Freddie Gray relating to the knife. You'll remember there was a lot of talk at the beginning and even in the charging documents that the knife, it was an arrest based on no probable cause, that knife found on Freddie Gray was in fact allowed, and so the arrest was illegal. And that sort of went by the wayside, that argument. So then the state's theory in effect shifted, and it shifted to what ultimately happened prior to the arrest for the knife.
So you're saying the state's case shifted halfway through, that it really lacked direction. That's what it boils down to, in your opinion?
It appears as such, because the original charging documents that we all got to read and that were published way back when the officer originally arrested talked very specifically about that knife. And that's what the theory had to be. And we know that that's what it was. It was an illegal arrest based on a knife that was not illegal. That shifted. And then it kind of came back in time that the arrest was based on an illegal arrest when it should have only been that detention.
So do you think it's fair to say that the state's charges here were a stretch?
Well, I think initially the state thought that it was an illegal arrest, as we talked a few minutes ago about the knife.
Right.
But I think they then got stuck sort of with the hand that they had dealt, and they had no choice but to continue to prosecute. And what became most challenging, I think, for the state is when the trial order got reshuffled. Officer Nero, whose case certainly appears to be the weakest, was in the leadoff spot.
And that was not as planned initially.
Exactly, Joy.
Right,
That's exactly right. And so I think the state sort of got caught in a bad spot. Perhaps if other officers were to be convicted before Officer Nero or some of the other less potentially culpable officers, maybe these less culpable officers would never have been prosecuted.
I know you do a great deal of work with police officers in the city. Offer some insight on what you think this verdict means to them at this point.
Well, I think it's a validation on the good work that the police officers in Baltimore City are trying to do every day. I think that if Officer Nero was convicted today, I think it would have had a dramatic, chilling effect on what officers are doing. I know from talking to so many police officers that I help that there already is this chilling effect, and officers already are in great fear that if they are wrong, despite acting in good faith, believing that a citizen individual may be involved in criminal activity, but that officer is wrong, and they put their hands on that officer, not on that suspect, even if there are no injuries incurred, these officers, vast majority of them, are worried that they're going to be prosecuted themselves, and that's a problem. So hopefully this verdict kind of validates, the good work that they're doing and says, hey, when we're in front of a judge, the court system can work, and it did work today.
And it eases some of that fear, in your opinion?
I think it will. I think it will, absolutely.
Okay. Thank you, Warren.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
sure.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Sure, Warren.
Excuse me. Hi. I was just speaking with attorney Warren Alperstein about the outcome that we just learned in the courtroom a few minutes ago, that being not guilty for Officer Edward Nero on all 4 charges. Now, in announcing this acquittal, Judge Barry Williams had a lot to say, but just to boil it down, in essence, what he said is that the state's evidence did not support these